Alright YouTube, this is Apex27 and I'm bringing you probably the most unique video I've made probably ever. We're gonna go ahead and give a little bit of attention to an area in Dark Souls 3 that I don't think has ever gotten any attention, and if it has, it's gotten pretty much no attention whatsoever. And maybe some of the Dark Souls enthusiasts know where I'm going with this, and if you don't, well, you're about to learn a lot, or at least start thinking about a lot, hopefully. And if this has been touched on before, please link me somewhere, especially if they have more answers than I do. But if you know Dark Souls 3, you know this is the Great Wall of Faerun, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know. I forget exactly what the hell this is called, but this is the bridge over Faerun Swamp, or whatever the hell it's called. I haven't played Dark Souls 3 in a while, and I don't know. Anyway, so if you played the game, you know that there's usually a big bone demon here that you fight, and he's kind of hard. He's like the Asylum Demon from Dark Souls 1, but he's made of bones instead of skin and flesh, and he has a different moveset. And this bridge, it's kind of hard to see where it originally, or where it eventually goes, because you can't really see too well from here. It looks like it ends, but the problem is that it can't have been somewhere up there, because it's attached to the stuff that's attached down here. So unless the bridge literally sank into the swamp below, it just can't have been up there at one point. But that is the only reason why it would be all the way down here. The other thing to notice is that clearly something happened here. So either that bone demon has, you know, fought multiple people like myself, or the main character's self. You know, these bodies are here, but there's no way, like, there's just a lot of damage here. Look, like the railings are all, or the edges are all screwed up, and obviously this is like closed off. And kind of makes me wonder if there was like a demon siege, right? I don't really know, but there's more to this, way more to this. This is a whole scene that I've never seen anyone give any attention to. Okay, so obviously that's like a big boulder pile that's missing out of that, but then there's these two over here that are just like here. I don't even know what they could have been or what they were. It could have been another one of those, like the doorways, but it's completely demolished if it is. Also, you can see I've beaten the game, but anyway, like in this file. So we're gonna go over here now and point out another thing that I'm sure other Dark Souls veterans, Dark Souls 3 veterans specifically, will know what I'm about to point out. And I haven't killed any enemies, so you might get to watch me clumsily fight random enemies. Okay, so that brings me to not only this huge pile of rubble as well, which further, you know, and then there's so much to unpack here, because then there's all the hollows that are over here that will attack me if I go over there, but there's a bunch of hollows up there. I'll get to them in a second. This is going to be kind of a disorganized video. This dragon is a big, this was like probably the thing that really spoke to me and was like, this is clearly something that like something's going down here. This dragon is frozen in time. It's not dead, I don't believe. Its whiskers here are stuck in the air. Its head is not resting on the ground or laying flat or anything. It's still in a position of like fear. It's clearly falling for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't remember if it's missing a wing or not. I think this is the wing. Yeah, this is the wing. I don't know why it's hanging on, but it's clearly hanging on. I don't know why it wouldn't just fly, but it's clearly hanging on. And later on, I will show you the back version, because there's the beginning of the game that way, where you see all those and you meet the pygmy traveler NPC in the beginning of the game, where you see the backside of this dragon, and it further solidifies that it's stuck in time and not just dead. So then, amongst all this rubble, obviously there's a fuck ton of these hollows. I'm gonna kill this one real quick. Oh god. Okay. Anyway, just took care of those hollows. So yeah, there's a bunch of hollows over here. There's a bunch of missing rubble again, and like I said, that pile down there is this. I don't know why this is missing. Time for gorgeous view. Great, yeah. Didn't even think about that. But anyway, these hollows must be left over from a fight that was here with maybe the demon or the dragon, or then there's just this one traveler over here chilling out, praying in a direction towards not only the castle, but towards the demon, and then all those guys back there are praying towards this direction too. I don't know why there's one dude here, and there's so many others inside the castle, which I'll get to later as well. I've thought about all this before, but I don't know, just like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna cut to the next section of this little journey we're on. Alright, so next, we're gonna talk about how dumb this wolf is. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I don't fucking know what's going on with that wolf. Maybe it's part of the frozen in time thing. Who knows? Anyway, so here's the next thing. That up there, right there, where I'm pointing towards, that is the spot where the bridge breaks, right? Gotcha? Okay, cool. Glad we can agree that that's where the bridge breaks, because it is. So, the reason I'm bringing that up is because we're going to run from this ladder to that pillar that's in front of me. It's going to be a little messy. Probably going to have to cut out some bits of me fighting enemies and looking stupid, because there's a lot of dumb enemies in the swamp. Okay, well that was a lot easier than I expected. But there is a bone-horned demon fucker up here somewhere, and a bunch of toads that were cursing me. So this is the pillar that was right in front of us. And the reason I'm going over here is because if you notice, we're going to keep walking around looking for things, looking for rubble. But there is no rubble from the bridge. Out of here. There's no rubble. Hopefully we can stay undetected by that fucking asshole. Looking around, like I said, unless trees grow from rocks, or possibly these like things are holding, like on the trees, these things are holding rocks inside of them. There's no rubble down here. Remember how I said that it's stuck in time? There's no rubble. And this doesn't count because it's clearly like been formed into a walkway. We're not going to go up there because there's a really fucking annoying enemy up there. But anyway, there's no rubble down here. I've checked and checked. No rubble. that doesn't count either because it would clearly be shaped like parts of the bridge, and it's just not. It's just regular stone. There's no broken structure down here to further solidify my stuck in time theory. But we're not done yet. Cutting to the next section. Alright, so now we're at the Undead Settlement, and we're gonna run. I'll cut to when I get to the point that I'm going to be talking about. Here we are again. Once again, the other thing I just thought about actually is that, remember how I said that the bridge could not be lined up with the castle? Is that it's connected to the Undead Settlement, which is way the hell down here. Now it is possible that everything has sunk because of the swamp. That is the only other reason why it may be connected to the castle. Or maybe there was a rising part. I don't know. That really isn't that important. It's clear that it somehow helps people get to the castle, and it's been shut off because people don't want to get to the castle, because ultimately Prince Lothric and his brother don't want to link the flame, because, you know, Pond of Sullivan, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so here's the next major part of this theory. There's only one more part after this. So obviously these guys all, what's the word? They're all kind of what seems to be dead, right? Or petrified, maybe, but I don't know, because if they were petrified, that'd be fine. But one thing you may notice is, look at this. Oh, it's hard to get a good angle of it without fucking with the camera. Okay, there is like a urn or a lantern, maybe. I think it's a lantern. What am I talking about? It's a lantern. There's a lantern on this stick hanging down. Notice that it is angled instead of hanging or swaying. It is angled. It is in no way part of the traveler guy, pilgrim, pilgrim, whatever the hell they're called. I don't know. But multiple of these are angled, even if it's just ever so slightly. They're not swaying. They're not hanging the way gravity would allow them to hang. Some of them are, but a decent amount of them are not. And that will be shown even further in the next point, and I'll explain later. But here's the big thing that really got me thinking about this theory. For some reason, this dragon, instead of flying, which maybe it's because its wings are damaged, its wings do look a little damaged. Whatever reason, it's hanging instead of being dead and just laying there. I'm going to get my binoculars out without jumping off, because I'm rusty with the controls because it's been a while. Anyway, of course. So its foot is in the climbing position. That foot. The other foot is under the tail. You can kind of see it. It's also in the climbing position. And then the tail. The tail's the big thing. And also you can see the bridge is broken, and there should be parts of rubble that have fallen down, but there's no rubble down there. Debris or anything. Its tail is wrapped around. It is not dangling. It is not swaying in the wind. It is wrapped around and hanging in the air, but as if it's currently being flexed instead of hanging downward and maybe swaying in the wind. And you can hear the wind. There's clearly wind here. The wings are not draping either. They're also stuck in air. And I originally, and a lot of people probably originally just think, oh, he's probably just petrified or whatever, because they're like, what, stone dragons or something? And yeah, that could be a possibility. But the main thing that makes me think that he's not petrified is everything else surrounding him. The fact that the bridge doesn't have any rubble under it, even though there's a huge break in it right here, and clearly space where rock should be. And then these lanterns that aren't dangling, they're frozen. Also, the pygmy's hands are stretched out and not hanging or anything. Ooh, that one's all bugged out. Look at that. That's weird. There's also one dude who's over here who's like halfway in the floor. I noticed that before. Also, I don't know if it matters, but when you hit these guys, their shells, they're like interactable. I don't know if that really matters, but it's just something I noticed. Anyway, cutting to the next step. Okay, so here we are at Lother Castle. Quickly dispatch these enemies. Alright, so I said quickly, right? Yeah, it happened. It was quick. Alright, so final part of the theory, or the like, maybe not even a theory. It's kind of a theory. It's just like unfinished. But anyway. Alright, so here are these pilgrims once again. And here is some of the main culprits. Look at that. If it were petrified, that's fine. But its stick and its lantern definitely should not be petrified. And if it were, it would be discolored somehow, right? It would be like stone colored or something, wouldn't it? It's dangling. I mean, it's not dangling. It's hanging there in suspense. Same thing with, let's see, there's a few more around here. This one is kind of at an angle. Got this guy over here. A lot of them have lanterns that are not dangling. They are suspended. And then yeah, so it's pretty easy to see that a lot of these guys are, and I don't believe they're petrified. I believe, crap, I meant to roll and then press R1. Anyway, I believe that they're petrified. Sorry, God, whoosh, deuce. I believe that they are. Whoa, what was that noise? They are frozen in time. I know there's no time magic, like pretty much anywhere, if I'm not mistaken, in Dark Souls. But I don't know, man. There's only one more part that I want to go over. You ever notice that there's like a tree in here? I've never noticed there's a tree in here. Whatever. Anyway. Final thoughts as we pull up to the final part, because this is partially what makes me think that there may have been a connection between this and the bridge, because it stops you from being able to see where it ends. Pretty much from every angle you can see it from. It's stopping you from seeing the end, right? From all the way up here, obviously there's like a low poly version where everything's kind of like all the railings are intact, and you can't really see those two missing. Okay, so hold up. See that all the way over there is really blurry. Can't really see into the very well. I don't know. It looks like, yeah. The spacing of these things is weird. Yeah, I guess it would be. So that used to be an archway, like that one is, but it's completely gone, demolished. And then obviously there's the break in the bridge, where there's no rubble underneath. And then it, where the demon was, and then you can't see where it ends from here, or from where you are on the bridge. And if you go down below, it's really hard to see anything from up above, just because the way your character angle, like the camera, like you just can't look up straight, So I don't know. Did the bridge used to come up here? Has it all sunk below Lother Castle? Did Lother Castle used to be more on a playing field with the rest of all that stuff? Was there a demon like army that charged? Was there, for some reason, the dragon is there? Did maybe the Nameless King try to lead a charge? I don't know, man. There's a lot of different things to go over here and to really think about. And ultimately, the whole stuck in time thing, like they don't really show any kind of time magic in Dark Souls, but I just don't know how else to explain the pygmies and the dragon and their lanterns, and the rubble not being on the ground. Like, is it suspended somewhere in there? Because if you try to look at the area where there may be rubble, like just suspended in midair, you can't really get a good glimpse of it. Like, your camera angle doesn't work very well, and the points that you can view it from are too low or too high, which makes me think that there may be rubble suspended in midair, debris suspended in midair. I don't know. It's a lot to think about. I have another theory coming up. I'm probably going to make it another video dealing with the civil war within a civil war that is hidden and isn't talked about pretty much at all. But if you look around, you'll notice there are some inconsistencies. And I don't think it's just FromSoft overlooking stuff. I think it's them doing stuff on purpose, because they really don't make stuff in the games without a reason. They just don't. And if you need to have proof that that's the truth, then you really need to watch some of the not as mainstream lore videos. I forget who it's by. There's a Plot Against the Gods video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, someone in the comments will, and that'd be cool if you could link it, or just tell me what the title of it is. I'll link it in the description if I remember. But anyway, till next time, I'll shortly be out with the next theory video after this. Bye-bye.